All right, welcome everybody. We'll just wait another few seconds while people are getting organized and still joining us. Hope everyone's having a very good holiday season. People had a lovely Thanksgiving. I had the opportunity to spend it with my grandkids in the Boston area, and we were filming out there as well at the same time. Hi, Anthony. Thanks for your heart. Hope everyone else had a nice Thanksgiving and good holiday season or upcoming holiday season. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm happy to announce that we have, unless otherwise notified differently, that we have essentially completed all of the filming for the Netflix pilot. We were down in Florida filming. We were in Southern California filming. We were in Philadelphia filming. Most recently, we were in Virginia, where we were filming George Guess. For those of you who don't know, George Guess was a medical doctor who was practicing homeopathy in Asheville, North Carolina, and his patients were happy with him. The community was happy. There were no complaints. But the medical board of North Carolina found out that he was practicing homeopathic medicine, and they decided to take away his medical license. And he actually even had to leave the state of North Carolina. He had to move to Virginia. So we interviewed him, and we also interviewed in the Boston area Margot Roman. Margot is a veterinarian homeopath who also was just this was amazingly remarkable synchronicity. We were Mickey and I were at the Children's Health Defense Conference in Austin, Texas, and we had already decided we have a focus group of about 20 people who are working on the script for the pilot, and we decided as a group that we were going to focus on the perennial persecution of homeopathy. Homeopathy, since its inception, has been persecuted. Hahnemann was persecuted. He had to leave Leibniz and go to Cotton. Even at a certain point, the American Medical Association was created in response to the American Institute of Homeopathy, and they were so concerned about these medical doctors who were practicing homeopathy that they even at a certain point banned medical doctors from having a license if they were married to a homeopath. So the persecution has been ongoing. And we and Mickey and I, my wife and I, were at the Children's Health Defense Conference in Austin, Texas. And this woman walks by and says, Kim, and I don't recognize her. And she says, Kim, it's Margot Roman. And I haven't seen Margot in probably 20 or 25 years. And Margot's a veterinarian homeopath practicing outside of the Boston area. And I say, "Oh, Margot, wonderful to see you. Sit down. How are you doing?" And she says, "Oh, it's been horrible. I've spent the last 3 years and more than $1 million to fight the medical boards in the state of Massachusetts because, I'm using homeopathy and ozone and other natural therapies on my animals. And I mean, boy, if that wasn't a godsend that, the theme of our pilot is the persecution of homeopathy. And here's this woman who comes in who has this amazing story about how she's been persecuted for the last number of years and has spent, $1.5 million defending herself, even to the point of taking it up to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. So basically, this is the theme of the pilot is the persecution of homeopathy since its inception up until the present time. And we're going to show you, we finished all the filming that we need to do. Now comes the really big job of editing all the footage that we put together. We've got hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage from the previous film that we made. And since that film was produced, we've collected probably another more than 100 hours worth of footage. And we're now ready to assemble this piece, which is going to be the ultimate underdog story about how homeopathy, this amazing system of medicine that offers all these incredible benefits to humanity and really all living beings, has been unjustly persecuted from its very beginning, from its inception. And this has continued until the present day. And it's completely unreasonable and unfair that people are being denied this amazing, inexpensive, powerful system of medicine that can offer opportunities for their health that simply conventional medicine doesn't have available to them. So it's an amazing story, and I think people really are sympathetic and resonate with underdog stories, especially when, the person's been only doing good and helping people or helping their animals and they're being unjustly persecuted. The clip that we're going to show you, it's just about 5 minutes long. It's not by any stretch of the imagination a completed piece. We don't have a professional voice in there. It's an AI generated voice. A lot of the footage has to be replaced. So it's really just a rough uh, representation of the direction that we're going in. But I think you'll get a sense of what we're doing and where we're going. We hope to have the entire uh, pilot completed. It'll be about 45 to 50 minutes long. We hope to have the entire thing completed in the next 3 to 4 months. We still do need funds. We're about $60,000 short in getting all the funds that we need to complete the project. So please, if you can, help us. You can make tax-deductible donations of $5,000 or more through the National Center for Homeopathy. They've been kind enough to allow us to use their 501(c) status. And you can also make other types of donations. Let me just quickly show you on our website. If you don't, if you're not in a position to make a donation of $5,000, you can go to our website and you can just go right over here where it says donate and click on make a donation. And you'll go to the page where you can actually make a direct donation to the film project. And you do get gifts, not for the tax-deductible donations through the National Center for Homeopathy. You can't receive a gift for a tax-deductible donation, but for all the other donations, you do receive wonderful gifts. And let me just show you some of the gifts that are available. So, for example, for a $30 donation, you get my course on homeopathy and religion, which I think is a really good course. I think it's 4 hours long, and I explore all kinds of different facets of the relationship between homeopathy and religion. That's just for $30, and it's a really, really good course, even though I sang myself and I taught it. For $50, you receive a course called Understanding the Noble Gases with Jeremy Sher. For $80, you get a 1 year subscription to Homeopathic House Call. For $100, you get a course entitled The Homeopathic Treatment of Diabetes with Farouk Master. For $150, you get this course entitled Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Potency and Dose with Me Again. And this, I think, was an 8 hour course. And I really covered all of the different facets of everything you'd want to know about potency and dose. I think that's a really, really good one. Um, there's a $180 course. For $180, you get the first aid course with Dr. Joe Kelstein, an amazing course. Unfortunately, Dr. Kelstein is no longer with us. He passed on. For a $250 donation, you get the acid remedy course, Kimalia on acid remedies. Well, where will you get a chance to see me on acid remedies? For $500, you get the Organon course. That's a 66-hour course. And it's an amazing compendium of everything you ever wanted to know about the Organon. He goes through every single aphorism, presents cases describing how those aphorisms would actually be implemented in actual clinical practice. So it's a really invaluable course. If you're interested in making $1,000 donation, you will receive Dr. Farouk Master's homeopathic master classes at 72 hours of high-level training in homeopathy. And for a $2,000 donation, you get the entire pediatrics A to Z George Yurge course, which is remarkable, full of videos and really everything you'd want to know about treating children at a very, very high level. So you do get these wonderful compensatory gifts for your donations. And you're also supporting a really important cause, which is the promotion of homeopathy, that so people can really benefit from this amazing system of medicine. Before I continue and show the clip, are there any questions? I'll stop sharing for a second. Are there any questions that I could answer for anybody? Or Julian, is there anything that you wanted to share?
I would
Oh,
love
yes,
to.
okay. Thank you for
Just to kind of introduce the work that we're presenting, I have to say that from an artistic perspective, it is one of the things that has excited me the most over my entire career. So, even with the caveats Kim gave that there's still, many adjustments to make, different footage, etc., I find that what you'll see today is just so compelling. And I have to share a couple more things that are very exciting. When I spoke to a mentor of mine who has produced over 40 profitable films in the last 20 years. Imagine every celebrity that you've ever worked with. And I told him about this series. His immediate reaction was, "This is brilliant." and it has the potential to spin off into an expansion about many other areas of the field, which I think could lead us to a long-term, beautiful long-term work. With that said, I also want to echo, what Kim said about donations, and this isn't up on the website because I'd rather keep it private, but I made a special series about this following my body of work that examines the fractal geometric patterns inside water. And I wanted to offer them to the public, in exchange for donations. And I'm happy to, discuss anything privately with you because they're photographs. They can be printed at any size and scale. And we can, and all of those funds can go to the film, but they're very personal because, as we talk about water memory, these are really genuine expressions of what water memory looks like in real 3D space, shown by true photography. So I don't want to go very far off topic here, but I just wanted to share a few of these if I can. Can everybody see that?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
very cool.
is that coming through?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so this is sunlight from the afternoon inside a single drop of water, and you can see that single drop of water in the way that the beam patterns exist. But if you look at that and you think of the level that homeopathic application works on, the ways that your minds start to churn are just amazing. I don't want to get too deep into this, but I just have a couple more that I find I think everybody is going to really like, and I made them specifically with this series, so I promise I won't linger. But this
Cool.
is also sunlight of the afternoon coming through water that's held in a little bit larger container, and if you look at it up close, picture this 9 feet wide, sitting in a gallery. I think what it can do is really start to show people kind of the mechanics around the science that we're talking about. I'm gonna do two last. I won't preface any of them, I promise, so we can get back to the meeting. But I hope just again, this is sunlight inside a single drop of water. I hope you like these. I'm happy to talk offline or through Kim and Mickey about
Hey, Julie, maybe we
any of
can
them.
post these up and we can talk about it a little bit later and post those up on the internet as well and figure out,
Exactly.
yeah, for people who want to,
E-
who are
e-
interested in acquiring them and making a donation of some type. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and again, all of these all of these funds would go directly for the film. So
Wow.
with that
Yeah.
said, I'll stop sharing
Yeah,
everything.
we do have Veda. We do have Veda Austin on video already, and we do have a lot of her work included. We did actually prepare a video using Veda Austin and Stephen Cartwright works together. I don't know if people saw that or not. I believe it's up on it's up on our I think on one of our websites. Anyway, let me go ahead and I'm sure people are anticipating seeing this clip that we've got again with a caveat. This is just an AI generated voice and there's still modifications, so it's still in preparation, but you'll get a sense of the direction that we're moving in. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right.
Just so everybody knows, the first voice is not AI generated. The doctor's in witness protection, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the people was a medical doctor who was basically uh, treated very poorly by Stanford University, and he was still concerned about the potential impact it could have on his medical practice. So we actually put him like he's in a witness protection program. We'll clarify that in the actual pilot, so it'll be very obvious what's going on. But just so you know, he did not want to be on camera, so it's as if he's in a witness protection program, talking about his experience with homeopathy at Stanford University. All right, so let me go ahead and share the clip now.
Throughout history, there's been the persecution of new thinkers and a lot of martyrdom for people who have stretch the limits of our understanding of life in the universe. It's through that process that science and really all the philosophy of life has evolved. I got turned on to homeopathy in my first year of medical school. I've been accepted at Stanford, and I did a preceptorship and saw cases cured homeopathically that I had just been taught were incurable. Being young and very idealistic and naive, I thought, this is amazing. I want to bring that back to Stanford. So I arranged for a conference. As a result of my putting on this lecture, they started harassing me. They made all kinds of accusations that were unsubstantiated and made me take an entire year of medical school again. I found out later from my lawyer who investigated the whole situation that they had planned this to bankrupt me before I even got out of practice. After 4 years and 11 months of medical school, I was not allowed to graduate.
Throughout history, human evolution has been marked by the search for a higher understanding of the universe. Each breakthrough built upon the last. Another step towards greater order. But with even the brightest minds, our work has sometimes taken equal steps backwards. And the very same brilliant hunger that drives us forward is so often misused for fraud and profit. It is our responsibility to audit every claim.
I want to tell you a little bit about why I decided to study homeopathy. I think the story is very important. I had asthma for many years. I had been treating my asthma, and it would go away, but it wouldn't go away completely. So in 1993, I was going camping with our kids, and I felt myself breaking out with poison ivy. But I felt good. I didn't feel sick. And as soon as the redness in my arms went away, my asthma completely disappeared. I couldn't believe it. What does asthma look like in the lungs, histologically? The editor of the New England Journal of Medicine's response was, poison ivy in your lungs. And there was this eureka moment like, oh my gosh, did I take this inflammation from my lungs and move it to my arms and get it out of my system? So I was determined to study classical homeopathy to understand why this happened.
At a time when trends push healthcare to the front of global politics, consuming more research funds than any other science, homeopathy has become the second most common medicine around the globe. Using a principle discovered in ancient Greece, where similar symptoms cancel each other, it has shown revolutionary ways to heal diseases otherwise incurable. But it operates on such a subtle level that modern medicine still seeks to understand it. And the doctors who've used its methods have suffered more than 200 years of persecution.
In 2003, I rescued a horse. They basically said he'll be dead in 3 days. Getting a lot of ozone, getting a homeopathy, getting support. He lived 8.5 years jumping in horse shows. So to me, that was a success. The veterinary board, they wouldn't see it. They said he should have been euthanized. And I thought it was wrong because I didn't do anything wrong to save my horse's life. But because I stood up, the veterinary board was informed to get rid of Dr. Roman. And I've spent over $1.6 million on legal stuff, torn apart and prejudiced completely because I was doing something alternative.
All right, so you can see that was the part with Margot. Julian, did you do a little bit more work and put some stuff with George Guest in there as well?
I did. If everybody would like to see it, I'll happily
Would you go
share.
why I haven't personally seen it myself, so we can yeah, why don't we just everybody can go and why don't you show us what you're working on now?
Thank you for the heart stirring, by the way. That was very sweet. I don't even know how to do that in Zoom. Um, yeah, so this basically, obviously, Kim hasn't seen it, and it's the latest thing that's come out of the oven. So um, it picks up right where Margot's story leaves off. And just so you have that appropriate lead in, I will share kind of just a moment of hers last so you can see how it cuts together. Let me just find where the Zoom window is again and share the screen. Everybody can see okay?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Part and prejudice completely because I was doing something alternative.
The institutions of our government have been used as political weapons against holistic practitioners. I'm a family physician going through the mechanics of conventional medicine. I became a bit disenchanted with what seemed to be limited results and studied at the Athenian School of Homeopathic Medicine. I then went to work in Western North Carolina, announcing to the world I was a homeopath. A few months later, I had an unsolicited visit, investigators for the North Carolina Board of Medical Examiners. I then got a subpoena to appear for a formal procedure where I was being charged with a failure to practice acceptable and prevailing medicine. There was no instance of a patient complaint. There was no assertion that anything I had done was unsafe. That first hearing, when I began to talk about homeopathy, its efficacy, I was at that point interrupted, and they said, well, we're not making homeopathy the prime subject of this investigation, but rather your competence as a physician. So they proceeded to ask me a lot of medical questions, which I knew the answer to. I had a number of internal medicine physicians, and then I had a number of patients who testified as to the benefit they achieved from homeopathy that they hadn't elsewhere. There was truly a battle of philosophies. The board then charged me with unprofessional conduct, which was defined as failing to practice according to acceptable and prevailing standards. Rather than pulling my license, they offered me conditional probation, wherein I could remain in North Carolina practicing conventional medicine as long as I abandoned my homeopathic practice.
Thanks, Julian. Now, obviously, that didn't have any music or wasn't, it's not.
Oh, you couldn't hear the music?
No, couldn't hear any music at all.
Oh God, I must have blown that. There
It's
was
okay. It
music.
doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I messed up that screen share. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's
The
okay.
music's
No worries.
actually quite pretty too.
You can hear the music. Oh, I couldn't anyway. Oh, whatever. Okay. So you can see we're working on it. Are there any questions? So basically, we have a group. We meet once a week. There's close to 20 people, and we're now just kind of taking all of the video materials that we have, stuff that we didn't use that we collected for the creation of introducing homeopathy, and then plus all the subsequent video footage that we've collected, and we're just kind of going through that now, identifying what we want to include in the pilot and producing the finalized piece. Are there any questions that anybody has for what we're doing or the time frame or anything else that we're involved with?
Oops. Okay. Where did it go? Go early. Oh, come on. I can't find the video.
Yes, I would imagine if you don't have Netflix, there will be other ways to be able to see it for sure.
I'm going to go to the center.
We would Yeah, Carol, you had a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Is this the kind of persecution that people are receiving, is that depend on the state? Or is it the national AMA that's uh,
Well, in the case of the three individuals that we interviewed, it was all either a state issue or it was a institutional issue. One was with Stanford,
yeah,
the
the
other two was
Stanford?
with the North Carolina Medical Board. That was against George Guest, and then for Margot Roman, it was the Massachusetts Board of Veterinary Medicine that went after her.
And
But she's actually taking her case all the way up to the George Guest took his case all the way up to the Supreme Court of North Carolina and lost.
Ah,
Margaret actually prepared to take her case actually all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. So I don't know if they've agreed to hear her case yet or not, but that's where she's at.
probably they shouldn't. I don't know what kind of
Yeah,
success she's going to have,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I do know physicians that have become successful homeopathic practitioners. And I'm trying to think of the name of the woman that I know who is quite well known, written books. She's in California. Um, and are we going to? I know what this is about persecution, but I think uh, things are. I think I see things changing with people accepting and the medical profession having to accept energy medicine as a real an energy in medicine and healing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I agree with you. I think that there is a shift in perception, especially around natural healing approaches. People, for the most part, don't really know or understand what homeopathy is, and that's one of our objectives in making these films is to actually educate the population. But I certainly think that there's definitely an opening there for people to look at other information, and that's essentially what we're trying to do through these various projects. So.
Okay, so there's not just you're going to show persecution, but you're going to show uh, things that are changing.
Well, we have a whole 10-part series that will focus on
Okay,
different aspects of
okay, great.
homeopathy research, therapeutic benefits, the history, so on and so forth. But for the pilot that we're submitting to Netflix, we're focusing on the perennial persecution of homeopathy. And I think it's a good one because it affords us a lot of dynamic tension and polarity. People who are skeptical of this thing called homeopathy. Is it, one of the biggest frauds that's ever been perpetrated on humanity, or is this one of the greatest healing modalities available to humanity? And so
It's in,
we're going to investigate that through the series. And the opening pilot is going to be about the perennial persecution, which then leads to the question, well, is it justified? Is this persecution justified or not? Uh,
yeah,
and
great. And
yeah,
it's
Yeah,
perfect
Kim,
because then some of these doctors um, found out and believe, like the ones you've interviewed, because they've been cured by it, or in the case of the vet, the animals she was working with, they're cured
sure.
about it. So those would be great for another series,
Yeah.
when
Did you see the film that we made, Carol, called Introducing Homeopathy?
I for introducing Hopi, I didn't ever make the one that
yeah,
I
I
had
see it.
signed up for, so I haven't seen it.
You,
No.
you can rent it on the website for $4.95, or you can purchase it for $14.95. And I highly recommend
$40
it.
I can purchase it, did you say?
Yeah, you can go to
Okay, because
introducinghomeopathy.com.
I'm working on doing that in where I live here. I live in Washington State. It's pretty, it's done some pretty horrible things to some of the homeopaths here, but most of them were not doctors. They were
Right,
homeopaths. So
right.
I would like to do more education with the time I have left. So, yeah, that would be great. Thank you. And
Kim, this is Christine. I'd just like to share with everybody that I have a brother and sister-in-law who had heard from me about homeopathy for years and never did anything with it. Finally, when introducing homeopathy became available, to my delight, they watched it. They both watched it, and they watched it multiple times. Highly impressed. And my brother-in-law, who has kind of a serious health issue, had every intention of following through and finding a homeopath to work with. However, when I just talked to them a couple of months ago, actually about a month ago. They haven't done anything about it. And the reason is that my sister-in-law keeps saying, if it's such a great system of medicine, why
No, we
haven't
don't.
we heard about it?
Mm.
And so that's why I really think that this first segment, this first piece in the series is really crucial so that people do get an understanding of why we are so behind the curve, especially in this country.
Yeah. I mean, imagine somebody sees this medical doctor or veterinarian who's receiving no complaints, who's informed that they should euthanize their horse because conventional medical treatment doesn't offer any options. And instead of doing that, she offers the animal natural therapies like homeopathy. The animal lives another 8 years, and then she's attacked for keeping her animal alive for 8 years. Anybody with any sense of humanity, like here's a story like that and says that is so unjust. I mean, that is like how, and then she has to spend $1.5 million of her own savings to be able to keep her animals alive. So I think, people resonate with that type of injustice. And I think it's the ultimate underdog story. And I think it's going to move people. And I think the 10-part series is going to put homeopathy in front of the general public in a way that's going to be continuing and ongoing, and it's going to really fundamentally change the perception and understanding of homeopathy, not just in North America, but really hopefully around the entire globe.
Kim.
Yes. Hey,
Um,
Regina.
I just would like to say that I was in France this year, and suddenly France has banned homeopathy. You can't go into a pharmacy and buy it, and I was shocked.
It's
So I
Yes,
don't.
I am aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah, the legislation's complicated. You can't get reimbursed for insurance. And a lot of the pharmacies have followed suit in a way because a lot of their money is dependent on those insurance reimbursements, but it is still actively distributed in France. And after meeting with Boiron this summer, I was invited out and I had the chance to tour their facilities with a few other folks, very actually influential folks from Hollywood, some of whom will actually appear in the pilot and have very, very significant followings, which will really get our word out. Um, they said that they are in a direct line of communication with the Minister of Health. Again, this was all things that were just shared in passing. So I'm sure the conversation is very nuanced, but it is absolutely unfolding.
That's why our work is so important because, if we can educate the general public, make them aware of the benefits that homeopathy has to offer, then they're going to demand that they have access to this system of medicine. And so, it comes from the grassroots. If you can educate and inform the public, that's going to move everything else in the direction that we want.
I just heard that someone in France went into hospital to have a knee replacement, and in the hospital was given homeopathy to help with the healing. So,
Oh, interesting. Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, we'd like to hear that.
Right. I told my doctor here when I had my knee replacement, no, I don't want your stuff. I'm using homeopathy. And I came back, not only did I show him I hardly had any scar, but I never had the inflammation that was really about it. And it healed perfectly. He did a great job too, but he didn't know anything about homeopathy. I said, you really need to tell her. Yeah, right. So he can't, but I said, well, send him to me. I can tell him what to
I have a
use.
funny
Right.
little story from filming, Carol, actually in parallel to your story. So, Kim and I went to Mitch Fleischer's house to film George Guest, and I happened to show up on my birthday. And the day prior, I had a massive gash in my nose. So it was kind of embarrassing because I show up, they haven't seen me in a while, and of course, I look all messed up, like I'd been in a bar fight. And Mitch, of course, gives me calendula, and I swear to God, since I hit that time where your body stops functioning as well in my 20s, I've never healed as fast from a wound like that. It was gone in about 3 days.
Yeah. Yay.
If I may say something, my name is Amy,
Hey,
and
Amy,
I am a,
welcome.
huh?
I said, hey, wait, Amy, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Kim. I am a student of homeopathy at Montreal Institute of Classical Homeopathy. And what we are learning is that there's so much research being done these days at universities and with doctors and with physicists and with homeopaths supporting homeopathy and proving how it works scientifically and with medical doctors and medical schools. We actually have a webinar this Saturday to talk about the latest research. And I'm thinking that would go so well with you're talking about the persecution. And that's really something that you should get out, that there's all this research and here's the answer to it, that doctors and medical schools are jumping on board, that the research proves the effectiveness. I think it's perfect timing.
Hey, Amy, why don't you reach out to, do you have our contact information? You can reach out to us. Just, have you seen Introducing Homeopathy? Have you seen the
I
film?
did. Yes,
Yeah.
I really liked
So
it.
just so you know, we did film at the most recent AIH sponsored conference about research that was conducted in Connecticut, and we did interview a number of the different presenters there. But if you have some additional information that we can incorporate in the film or in the pilot or the series, we'd be happy to talk to you about that. So can you do you have do you have our contact information? Why don't you reach out to go to the Introducing Homeopathy film email and someone will
Okay.
respond to you. That'd be great.
Okay.
So sorry to interrupt, but Amy, there was one thing that was really exciting at that conference. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Dr. Michel Wassenhoven. I'm probably butchering his name. It could be Mikkel. I apologize. But he's a MD from Belgium and one of the foremost researchers. If you know me or if everybody knows him, please stop me. But he has been doing work on the mechanism of action for years while running the integrated hospital there. And he has said definitively on camera that we will feature in this pilot that they have proven without a shred of a doubt, duplicated and peer reviewed the fact that homeopathy works not only on the nanoparticle level, but also on the frequency level, which is fascinating because it settles the debate between any factions that might have created. And what he has said is that nanoparticles actually have even shown to be completely soluble in the liquid. So even though their presence is there, sometimes they cannot be detected, but they verified these with machines. And he said, basically, I quote roughly, which I can't wait to have in this. If you think there is no mechanism of action behind homeopathy, you simply haven't read the science. And I'm so excited
Yes.
to be
Me
able
Full
to
too.
say that I was
energy.
blown away.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's
Blown
awesome
away.
time to be doing this, to be getting it out there. But I'll keep in touch. I'll let you know
Okay, yeah,
what
let
I.
us know, Amy, for sure. Does anybody else have any comments or questions that they?
Yeah, we had a quick
Yeah,
question.
Tom, go ahead.
If we understand correctly, you're in the second of 10, a series of 10, so this is the second one.
No, no, let me clarify. We made a film, a 2 hour film called Introducing Homeopathy, which is available from the introducinghomeopathy.com website. And now we're making a pilot that we want to submit to Netflix, and we want them to fund an entire 10-part series that we have outlined already that focuses on different aspects of homeopathy.
Okay, and then our question was,
Oh,
in,
will
in
that
that
be pres
in that future 10-part series, is there going to be any focus on homeoprophylaxis?
Yes.
Yeah, we could certainly discuss homeopathic prophylaxis. Yeah.
We interviewed actually at the conference the foremost researcher on homeoprophylaxis. Or this,
Are you involved, Tom? And are you involved with homeopathic prophylaxis? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, Rachel's a a holistic health practitioner, and we do homeoprophylaxis. So
Okay.
yeah.
Would
Yeah.
love to
We
talk.
didn't we didn't we didn't we didn't touch upon it in well, maybe just briefly we touched upon it. We talked about it in the context of the 1799 scarlet fever epidemic where Hahnemann used belladonna prophylactically to prevent outbreaks of scarlet fever. But I don't think we spoke about it in a much broader context in
We
terms of
we did speak about it in the context of the Cuban outbreak of
oh yes, yes, we did
microbiota.
talk about that. Yeah, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So did touch upon it briefly, but we'll certainly talk about it more in the whole 10-part series is going to be, it's going to be 10 hours long. So we'll have lots of opportunities to focus on different aspects of
Yeah.
homeopathy.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Is it going to start with the introducing homeopathy film?
No, no, no. The
No?
reason we never submitted introducing homeopathy to Netflix. That was our original intention. But basically, introducing homeopathy is a commercial for homeopathy. It talks about of course, there are amazing benefits to homeopathy, and there really isn't a lot negative to say about it. So we just talked about all the wonderful things about homeopathy. That's not really the correct format
Uh,
that is appropriate for Netflix, where they like a lot of dynamic tension and polarity,
oh,
and
yeah.
advocates and skeptics. So that's
You're-
why we're creating this investigating homeopathy series to more fit the type of programs that they like to show on their
I
station.
got it. Okay. Too bad. Okay, but I'm going to buy that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Like I said, you can watch it yourself. It's been seen by more than 500,000 people. So it's been seen by a lot of people, and it's definitely had an impact. A lot of the schools here in North America are having the highest attendance that they've ever had. One woman who was on some island in the Caribbean who was having difficulty with her homeopathy practice did a screening, and now she's got like a 2-month waiting list. So we know that it definitely has an impact. People watch it. Oh, I had a really great thing. I was at the Children's Health Defense Conference and I was shipping some boxes back to California. And Pierre Corey was there shipping some boxes back as well. Pierre Corey's a medical doctor who's worked a lot in the health freedom movement. And so we struck up a conversation and he said, oh, well, I said, oh, I love your work. Thank you so much. He said, what do you do? I said, I'm a homeopath. I made a film entitled Introducing Homeopathy. And he said, oh, I love that movie. It was fantastic. It was so professionally done. It was amazing. And I had a friend of mine, a medical doctor, who was very, very skeptical about homeopathy. And I showed him the film, and now he's no longer skeptical about homeopathy. So we know that the film has a really important role to play in terms of converting people and showing them what homeopathy is capable of doing. And we want to get it in front of the larger Netflix audience as well through this series that we're creating.
Yay. Okay.
Are there any other comments or questions that we can address? We'll have another update, in the next couple months before the film, and we'll be able to show more clips then and things of that nature. But we're really excited about the work we're doing, and we think it's going to have a profound effect on homeopathy, its perception amongst the general public, and the willingness of people to want to go out and find a practitioner for themselves, or to study homeopathy, or to join the National Center for Homeopathy, or really just become part of our community.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
And I saw the film Introducing Homeopathy is wonderful. They showed it in the theater here in Maine. I didn't know what happened at Stanford, and I guess I could, Google it or something, but I just thought I'd ask because I'm a Stanford alum and they know I practice homeopathy.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it was a medical student, and he got interested in homeopathy. He brought
Yeah,
some
4 years he
speakers
did
in.
all his medical school. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just because he decided to bring a speaker in to speak about homeopathy, they decided to single him out, to attack him, to basically make him forced him to leave Stanford, even though he basically completed all of his educational requirements. So it was a terrible persecution, and he suffered it tremendously.
When was it?
Oh, this is more than 30 years ago. It's a long time.
Yeah, well, I graduated in 1970, so but I didn't know about homeopathy then. I would have loved to.
Yeah.
Didn't know about it.
Good thing for you, right? Because they were probably throwing you out.
The story ends. I don't want to spoil anything, but
Okay.
the story ends on a note that I find people will hopefully be pleased by, and we will follow that whole story throughout the film.
Good.
Well,
Great,
shame
Julie.
on Stanford for so much for open-mindedness. And,
Yeah, well, most institutions have been corrupted, unfortunately,
yeah, yeah.
And
It's just
and
something
that we
we
were
do.
informed that the bulk of the people involved in the persecutive work were, have now probably since left or kicked the bucket, shall we say, pejoratively.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were probably funded by the pharmaceutical industry or something.
Well, yeah, that's it, right? Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for what you're doing. Thank you so
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And again, if you can help us support us financially or in any other way, if you have any other contacts or any other ways that you can contribute creatively to the
Oh,
project.
we are the main association of homeopaths that I'm a member of. We are contributing
Oh,
and
fantastic. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah. Any other questions that we can address for anybody or comments or?
Oh, thank you for focusing on this now. It's really amazing your
No, thank you,
contribution
Carol.
will be to the future.
Yeah.
But it's the time. I mean, we're talking about what heals. I'm taking some special things from a physical therapist, and they finally released these tools, which are sound wave, electromagnetic wave. They're totally safe, and they're healing and healing
Sure.
people
Sure.
well. And so I'm experimenting with that, and homeopathy, of course. But it could be the perfect time for homeopathy
I
to.
think so. I think that it's the moment is ripe. All things in their time, and I really think that this is homeopathy's time. Let's
Time.
make 2026 the real year of homeopathy. All right. All right, my friends.
And every
All
year
right. Have a
thereafter.
good night, everyone. Julian, thanks for joining us. Have a good night, everyone.
You're welcome.
And yeah, whatever you can do to help, we appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Kim.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.